reason why their brush is so much bigger than what line is actually appearing. Because they're just doing something like this, you know, oh my god, look at me drawing the cat, ha 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 ha, even though I am not actually, I'm literally just freaking playing coloring book with this. That's what I think this scammer is doing. But yeah, let's continue looking at the speed paint. You see what I mean, right? Because like there's just so many lines appearing and the brush that they're using is just way thicker than the actual lines that are appearing, which just makes no sense. But the quote unquote artist does this for a while, which I also want to add, just looking at this, there's a lot of AI looking anomalies happening. All of this like crunching happening in this corner. A big one is, again, you want to ask yourself, like, would a human draw this? Would a human draw the sleeves to look like some crunched up diamonds? Probably not. This fake artist is not even attempting to hide the fact that they're scamming. What's also odd is there's no corrections whatsoever. This artist in quotes never has to redo a brushstroke. Look at this like ornamental detailing. They somehow get perfectly straight lines on the first try without using the line tool in Photoshop. Come on, you're not a god. You cannot make this happen. Like everybody, when it comes to drawing these types of ornamental details that has like very, very geometric straight lines, you're gonna have to redo it over and over and over again because on the first try, you're not gonna get a perfectly straight line. But somehow this artist, the goat themselves, every brushstroke is also immediately perfect. It's just so odd. And then we get to the rendering. Look what the hell is happening here. So now we get to the blank page. They have the eraser, okay, selected in Photoshop, set to like 90. And they start erasing to magically make the finished product appear. Did they just give up? They actually spent some effort scamming in the first half with that fake sketch line art clipping mask shenanigans. And then they got to the render and they're like, oh, I don't know, man. Let's do the eraser tech. The funniest thing to me is they're using a hard brush. They're not even using like a soft brush to try to make it look more believable. Look, one brush doesn't paint 10,000 different colors. How are you painting 20 different shades of green with one brush? And by the way, we cannot see their color wheel, so we don't know what colors they're using. They start coloring. And then I guess they get lazy halfway through because they just make the brush like ginormous. They use a different brush that's set to 250, which is massive. And then they just magically paint all the colors of the background. Somehow they managed to paint in words too, with the exact same brush words appear. By the way, take a look at the name of this Photoshop file. We can't see the full name, but it says something ver new Photoshop. Do you think it says paint over new Photoshop where they're painting over the image? They then undo all their fake erasing and then toggle on the faint already done background. So they're lowering the opacity of their fake white eraser layer to then continue erasing. Unironically, this wins the award for the shittiest fake speed paint that I've ever seen. At a loss for words. And again, I feel so freaking bad for this author. This is comedic, honestly, at how awful this is. So up until the point of the speed paint being posted, people were 50-50, kind of giving the unnamed artist benefit of doubt. After the speed paint came out, everybody was stepping on this artist's neck, being like, dude, this is wrong. The top comment says, not the full render at the end. Who are they fooling? Another person says, at least they're providing proof they're scamming you. Another person said, I'm sorry you got scammed and lied to as well. You should tag this person. The world needs to know. And the author says, unfortunately, they don't have any social accounts. Just the Reddit one I commissioned with. And they're known as a scammer on r/hungry artists. But the community doesn't name or shame on there, so there was a no ban list I could find them on. People are saying, LOL, the end was so insane. I'm sorry for cackling. After all of this, you know what's the wildest part? The fact that the artist is actually doubling down. So the author posted this conversation they had on Reddit with this artist in quotes. So the author basically says like, hey bro, you're scamming me with AI. And the artist says, I'm sorry you feel that way. That is such a like a manipulative thing to say. Like, I'm sorry you feel shitty for me scamming you, haha. But they continue. But I genuinely disagree with the accusations that the video are AI generated or fake. The work in progress I shared came directly from my drawing progress, and I've been transparent throughout the commission. You mentioned yourself earlier you didn't doubt my ability to draw or the legitimacy of the current commission work. So I feel the situation has become more about distrust around an unrelated NDA sample piece rather than the actual artwork I delivered for you. I've tried to cooperate, provide work in progresses, revisions, and clarification whenever possible, and my intention was to never mislead or scam you. Like, just note what this person is saying. They said, it's not my intention to mislead you, and I'm sorry you feel bad. They never said, I did not scam you with AI. It's a very roundabout way, the way they responded, but look what they said. The work in progress I shared came directly from my drawing process. Your fake drawing process. Yeah, you opened it in Photoshop, but you painted over it with an eraser. Hello? So then the author basically doubles down, being like, your work in progresses are fake. And the artist says, to avoid any misunderstanding, can you clarify whether you're referring to the current commission work or the older NDA sample piece I previously showed you? This person is literally purposely being obtuse. Come on. You know you are scamming, but you're pretending that you're not. There's actually another layer to this story because remember how this author had two pieces of artwork, right? The cover, and they also had an interior design that they were working on? There's another